So that short I posted about Agents.md files blew up, and y'all kept asking me to go deeper. But here's what I realized. Most of you aren't asking, what is an Agents.md file? You're asking, why does my AI agent start ignoring my conversations halfway through a session? And I've been there. You give it clear instructions, it follows them for a while, and then it just does its own thing. And so today, I'm gonna show you my actual files, the exact prompt I used to generate them, and why this let me run sessions that are millions of tokens long without the agent going off the rails. So let me show you what I mean. Let me pull up a real session from last week. So I'm working on my Codex backend and then hit this error. The file name has a hyphen in it, provider-options.ts. Convex does not allow hyphens in file names. Simple fix, right? And watch what Cursor does. First, it scans the Convex directory, then it searches for imports across the whole repo, and then it creates a to-do list, like an actual to-do list. And then 7 tool calls later, it finally renames the file to provider-options.ts and updates the imports. It worked, but here's the thing. If the agent actually knew my project conventions from the start, it would have never let me create a file with a hyphen in it in the first place. Or it would have just caught it immediately instead of just playing a detective. And here's another one. I asked Cursor to review a migration plan for backward compatibility, and it comes back with a bunch of recommendations, including add a feature flag for gradual migration. So I had to tell it, we're testing in dev before prod, no feature flags needed. And now this. Go ahead and review again. So it reviews everything. It does more tool calls and just burns more tokens. The agent gave reasonable advice, it just didn't know my workflow. Now look at this project. In my root Agents.md file, I have this design system section with clear do and don't patterns. And down here, directory guides linking to 11 subfolder Agent.md files, including one for Convex. In Convex Agents.md file, I have files must use camel case, no hyphens or underscores. And in my root, I show dev to prod deployment without feature flags. So the agent reads this at the start of every session. And so that way I don't have to explain my conventions mid-task and no more, actually, we don't do it that way type of thing. So let me show you exactly how I set this up. So here's my actual repo structure. At the root, I have an Agents.md file. This is about 50 lines long, super lightweight. And it basically has how to use this playbook, bun commands, convex sync, SHA-CN patterns. It also has data and delivery principles and basically where the logic lives, as well as the design system rules with actual do and don't examples, and then this directory guides section. See this? 11 links to subfolder Agent.md files, app router patterns, convex schema rules, UI components, config files. Each folder has its own detailed instructions, and the agent only loads the convex rules when it's working on the convex folder, and it only loads the UI rules when it's working in its components. Simple, right? This is called just-in-time context indexing. Instead of one massive file basically drowning the context window, the agent will pull what it needs when it needs it. And that's why long sessions actually work. And you're not wasting tokens on the front-end rules when you're actually debugging back-end code. All right, here's the part you actually click for. I don't write these files from scratch. I actually have a prompt that generates them. And this is my generate Agents.md file. It's about 240 lines. And let me walk you through the key parts. And yes, the links are available in the description. So first are the core principles. There are basically 5 rules the agent follows. Number 1, root Agents.md file is lightweight. Only universal guidance, links to subfiles. Number 2, nearest wins hierarchy. The agent reads the closest Agents.md file for being edited. And then number 3, just-in-time indexing or JIT indexing. It provides paths and commands and not the full context. So think of it like an index, not encyclopedia. And then number 4, token efficiency. Small actionable guidance over encyclopedic documentation. And then number 5, subfolder files have more detail, and that's where the specific patterns live. And then it has 4 phases, from the repository analysis to generating a root file to where the details actually happen. And so I'm gonna let you go ahead and review this file yourself and take a look through the whole thing. It's all in the description below. So I want you to stop right now and go ahead and run this file. In order for you to run this, you basically would just pop it into your favorite IDE or code editor, and you would just do something like this. Analyze this code base and generate a hierarchical AGENTS.md structure following the guidelines in at generate-agents.md. And what's going to happen here is your agent's going to continue working and crawling through the repo, reading your package JSON, maybe your backend database schema, and it's going to look through your component patterns. And when it comes back, it's going to show you what it generated for the root. If you use bun, it's going to say, hey, I'm using bun for the default toolchain, and rely on bun install and bun dev to do the actual steps here. If you're using convex, it's going to show run bunx convex dev -- once, and whatever other stuff that convex needs to use to check its code output. And if you have a design system, it's going to actually show you that's using Tailwind v4 tokens and generate do and don't examples as well. It's also going to show some bad examples saying wrong, like BG blue 50 and text blue 600 hard-coded stuff. And the correct way is BG primary and text primary design tokens. And this is why the agent stops suggesting hard-coded Tailwind colors halfway through a session, and it knows the convention overall. So that way it feels that much smarter. And if you keep looking through the generated files, it will actually generate links to subfolder AGENTS.md files as well, based on your directory structure. So it's pretty neat, and go ahead and give it a shot. And real quick, if you're using Claude Code specifically, they have their own format called CLAUDE.md. And the main differences are that you can import other files with the @ syntax, and you can have a .local.md files that don't get committed to Git, so each team member can have their own preferences. I use both, AGENTS.md for tools like Droid, Cursor, and Codex, and CLAUDE.md when I'm using Claude Code. So the same principles really apply, and keep the root lightweight and then nested with the detailed stuff, as well as including anti-patterns. So why can I run multi-million token sessions without the agent going off the rails? There are two things. One is the rules are actually structured so the agent loads the context just in time. So when I'm in the convex folder, it loads the convex rules. And when I'm in the components folder, it loads the UI rules. And the context window isn't drowning with just irrelevant instructions. And then number two, and this is why I use Droid for heavy sessions, is that they refresh the rules at key points through the conversation and not just from the start. So advanced models have what's called the recency bias, and they basically prioritize the context over the system instructions as the conversations get longer. So Droid's architecture actually addresses that. And I'm not saying that Droid is perfect, because nothing really is, but for sessions where I need conversations to stick after 200,000 tokens, it's been a godsend. So here's what you can take from this. One, my generate-agents.md prompt is actually linked in the description. Go ahead and fork it and customize it for your own stack. Two, structure your rules in layers. The root file stays lightweight, and the details rules actually live in the folders where they go ahead and get applied. And then three, include anti-patterns. Not just what to do, but what not to do as well. That's actually what could have prevented my hyphen file name issue. And if you had agents ignore your conventions halfway through a session, try the nested structure and drop a comment. I want to know if this actually fixes it for you. I'm streaming every weekend and building in public. If you want to see these workflows on real projects, make sure you stay subscribed. Thanks for watching.